if you are in defiance of a little emperor, mayor, or governor's ordinance, and who would order you how and when, where to worship. I mean, so this is certainly the most worrisome thing. I feel that America is unfortunately, including Canada and other European countries, are coming to this point.
Today I want to share with you guys a video and an article pertaining to Christian persecution, what is actually going on. And you won't believe this pastor and his family being fined $55,000 for this. Check this out, guys. China clamps down on Christians, fines pastor and wife for running underground church. Pastor Yang greets news of $55,100 fine by thanking God for allowing us to have part in his affliction. So this man clearly understands that persecution is actually a blessing from God. Well, won't you believe this pastor and his family being fined $55,000 for running an underground church? Unbelievable. But guys, this is coming. This is a stern warning for every believer. I'm going to share with you guys this video, all right? I'm going to play this video for you guys. But before I do so, I want to read this article just a little bit. Check this out, guys. The pastor of a large house church in China is facing steep fines from the Chinese government in what a watchdog group is describing as a case of religious persecution. So this pastor and his wife have been slapped with a combined fine of 400,000 yuan, which is roughly $55,100, for organizing religious activities. The fine, which the Christian couple has been battling since 2021, was reportedly doubled on June 28th, according to China Aid. The two recently announced on social media that they are refusing to pay. Here's a picture of the pastor that has been fined and his wife. He says, "Thank God for allowing us to have part in his affliction, and especially thankful that on earth we have no property for the court enforced implantation, which is definitely a great grace of God." Yang, a fourth-generation minister, follows in the footsteps of his father and aunt, both of whom were imprisoned for refusing to join the state-sanctioned Three Self Church, according to China Aid. So his church was first banned and fined 25,000 yen in May 2019, and the Chinese government reportedly sent police to surround the church and harass it for 30 days. The congregation shifted venues often as state authorities continued to surveil church members and subject them to repeated raids, destroying private property and forcing them to send their children to public schools. So as long as you stay under the umbrella of the dictatorship in China, you are okay. But whenever you chose to step out of that, especially when it came down to planting churches as a believer, as a missionary, as a pastor, he violated the code of conduct. The onslaught against this church is just a part of a larger crackdown on unregistered churches in China, where only 5 religious groups are permitted to practice their faith under the close watch of the state, according to the group. Now I want to share with you guys this very disturbing video. Check this out.
Check out this video from a Christian church service in China. It shows worshipers being raided by Chinese Communist Party police as part of the government's crackdown on Christianity. One Chinese pastor who fled to America is now warning that scenes like this are strikingly similar to the way the left censors speech here in the U.S. Bob Fu is that pastor and the president of China Aid, a watchdog group that tracks the religious persecution in China, and joins me now. Bob, thank you so much for getting up with us and being here to talk with us about this morning. But you have a very stark warning for America. What is it?
Thank you, Ashley, for having me. Because I was born, raised, educated in communist China, I just observed striking similarities during this COVID dictatorship time between China, of course, even the United States of America. I find we are really, in America, descending into a very dark kind of reality that somehow those mayors and governors all of a sudden became little emperors, and also the media has become an ideological tool to do propaganda with one side of the extreme leftist agenda. That's very worrisome to me, and we cannot really make our exceptionalist, constitutional democracy into this communist style of governance. That's worried me to the most. We have seen, of course, the persecuted church in China, as you just shown, every day. Many of my friends, are arrested and serving 5 years, 7 years, 9 years imprisonment for simply preaching the gospel and organize a peaceful worship service.
So this is happening in China, and let's be honest, we know that this has been happening in China for a very, very long time. But you got to understand, guys, he's talking about the media, the influence of the media, and the system at play. And he's going to go a little deeper in regards to what this is all about and how the censorship and the persecution is coming.
So now, all of a sudden, we could not tolerate the worship. If you are in defiance of a little emperor, mayor, or governor's ordinance, and who would order you how and when, where to worship. So this is certainly the most worrisome thing. I feel that America is unfortunately, including Canada and other European countries, are coming to this point of active discrimination and perhaps persecution on the door.
Wow. And obviously, guys, for those of you who've been around, we've had our fair share in that sort of thing to a certain degree, preparing us, I believe, to be completely controlled.
You talk about the future and you worry about what's going to happen. And obviously in COVID, they made it so hard for people just to go to church. As you called them, little emperors is what you referred to them as. So do you think that these far left figures, whether it be politicians or people that just follow this ideology, do you think they understand the repercussions that follow by doing this?
I actually, not only I feel they understand, they are adopting this.
I absolutely agree 110 trillion% with what he just said. Not only do they understand where this is leading, they understand where this is going. They are puppets on a string, opening the gateway for persecution to come, because this is a part of the plan. Because there is a puppeteer in the background, and his name is Satan at work. And Satan hates the church. You have to understand, guys, the reason why there is persecution at the levels and the degrees by which there is persecution is because Jesus Christ brings offense, and Jesus Christ brings a threat to any dictatorship, to any rule, to any law of man. And us as believers, we have to understand that because we have the authority, the devil is constantly coming at us, wants to discourage us and destroy us, and rid us of this authority that we do have. So he knows exactly what he's saying. And I agree with him 100%.
Similar or same tactics, same playbook from the Chinese communists. I feel in that way, the Communist Party actually has successfully penetrating or exporting these tactics because it's all a matter of total control. It's a matter of power over the church, and those mayors or governors, such as in California, they just want to be the Lord over the church.
They just want to be the Lord over the church, because the problem with the church is the church goes against everything the systems in the world are on board with. The church is the light of the world, and the world is the darkness. So when the light begins to shine and you begin to expose the darkness gets angry. Those who are hiding in the dark get angry. They need to find a way to dim the light. They need to find a way to dim your light. That's why you got to be continually focused on in growing and glowing the light that God has put within you. because you are in a dark world that is greatly disturbed, but people need to be exposed and need to know how to be healed. So what is happening is they are trying to control the church, control not only where we go and when we worship, but what we say and what we do and what we practice and what we teach when we worship. And if they could bring us on board, which they are trying to do in so many ways, that they will be fulfilling the plan of their father, the devil. It's all a part of the plan, guys. There is a reason for this. What other reason could you think of as to why is it that the world is so against Christians, the church, and the things that pertain to God? Just think about it.
And over the people of faith, I mean, in the name of the COVID. So I think that is the key, that the American Christians should be prepared for the kind of persecution the Chinese Christians, Saudi Arabian Christian, or North Korean Christians may have been facing. So we need to be prepared.
Bob, before I let you go, how can Americans who do not adhere to these practices of being progressive and trying to censor everyone for everything they want to say or do, how can they push back on this?
I think the most important thing to push back is we need to really honor the Lord as Christ and the only Lord over the church. Not any political party, not any political figure, not any ideology, political ideology can drive us. So we need to stand firm on the rock of our faith in Christ. Otherwise, if we are accommodating, if we are yielding our faith and even a little bit, and then the politicians, those other forces would want to replace that. And then our faith will be compromised. I think we will have a horrible time. I mean, not only for us, but for our children and our next generation.
Guys, stop being a political Christian. Politics first and Christianity later. Stop it, guys. Stop it. No matter where you land politically, Christ and Christ alone should be leading your life and your worldview. Stop being a Christian that is submitting to the agendas at hand. Equality, inequality, this, that, and the other. All of these different systems that are being forced upon you in order that you could be inclusive. And what do we do? What are many churches doing, even as I speak? Vacating the scriptures for the sake of inclusivity. Stop it. Because if we cannot stand on that which is true and sure, and if Christ cannot be primary, we will falter. So guys, the question is this: what are you going to do in light of the realities of what is happening? I know what I'm going to do. Continue to be a vessel worthy of the master's use. Get busy in the things of Christ, because as the scripture says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, Christ will appear. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think, guys. Let me know where you're at when it comes down to Christian persecution. Do you believe that we will see persecution at the levels that persecution is happening right now in various parts in the world? Do you believe you'll see it where you live? Let me know. Don't forget as well, guys, to like, share, and subscribe, to aim high. You already know us all love. Until next time, take it easy. Peace.